Everybody, Pastor Manny here with Pastor Josh, and we are so glad that you have tuned in to another weekly episode of Talking Points, where we help walk you through all of the important things that you need to know to run your small group this Sunday, which this is week 21st. Is this? What's this
15th,
Sunday? 15th.
Right?
Yeah, 15th. So this is the 15th, so November 15th.
If you're doing the 15th on the 21st, you're a week behind. So
right. So
good to know.
So don't do this one, all right? Unless you're in like proper calendar order.
Sure.
Everything's been crazy since the time change. I don't even know how to explain it.
It's week 3 of the different series. If we're on a different series at this point, you're probably on the wrong book. So.
Right. You're behind. Good. That's good. Well, we're here, and this week is following up. Pastor Josh preached last week. I'm preached this week, and it is an opportunity for us to really look at employee-employer relationship as it works with submission. And we got to hear about government last week, so that was a lot of fun. And in this week's chapter, either you're going to hear the word slaves or servants. So those are two things that are boop, 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 you need to hear. And so as we work through some of these talking points, one of them is theological. What are some of the theological ideas that we need to handle and understand? So Pastor Josh, why don't you walk us through some of those things?
Yeah. So a lot of this has been interrelated as we're going through Devotional and the sermon series, kind of topics reemerging, but especially here this week, kind of want to think about the idea of sin, and that's the impact it has on the world and our relationships with one another, and then as well as kind of the future instances, eschatological, I'll get it out, implications for both individuals and for the church.
Could it be Satan?
Could it be?
Yes.
So the
like
idea,
future, like eschatological,
yes.
like not just now.
Not just now.
Right.
So we're in the already not yet, kind of like the messy, stucky middle where we're still dealing with sin, but we're saved and we know where we're going. So we have hope in the future that everything's going to be made right. But right now, it's not yet made right. Mm-hmm. So that works out when we're going to be looking at the context of slavery, but specifically now in our lives now with relationships with bosses, workplace stuff that we don't like to have to deal with. Sin has caused brokenness, has caused distress, has caused harm in this world. So we have to kind of look at it through that lens, look at things through a biblical lens, understanding, okay, here's where God is working, here's where we're moving. So as I'm going through these things, I need to be understanding this is a result of sin, so how am I going to live out my life as an example of Christ, and then just promoting the gospel into that world around me.
All right, that's good. And I think for me, like as we look at this, a lot of times when we look at the idea of slavery or indentured servitude or just, in nowadays capacity, serving underneath somebody who is like a bad guy, mm-hmm. like we immediately want to go to, what's about me? How can I help myself? And whatsoever. And I think one of the things that we need to be a picture of is if we are Christ's representation of divinity, of godliness, of goodness, of mercy, of forgiveness, if we are examples of the gospel, how does that affect us when we are with people or working under people that are bad or just not good? Yeah. And this isn't like your boss just gives you jobs at the last minute. Like we're talking about like they're like evil, like they're bad, like they have like they want to harm you. Like that's what you need to put this in perspective with. Paul was talking about people who wanted to harm you. Yeah. That's why he gives the illustration of this idea that like they slandered Jesus and he didn't speak back. They beat him, he didn't beat them back. I mean, like, these are like this is like real harm that's coming to you. So
a little more intense than what we're used to.
Right. So when we're talking about like bad bosses, it's not just because Michael from The Office is your boss. Like he's just disorganized or something like that. Or what was that movie? The Office Space?
Yeah, I had to have you come in this weekend.
Thanks, man. Good to see you.
Hello, Peter. What's happening? We have sort of a problem here.
Yeah, glad we had this talk. Like kind of boss. Like we're not talking about like that kind of boss. Or what was the movie? Was it Fridays? Was that where they worked? No, they didn't work at Fridays. I forget. They had all the flair, and the guy was just a bad boss. There are all these movies that represent bad bosses. I think there's even a movie named Horrible Bosses, and there was even a movie like a long time ago for some of you who are older, like Working 9 to 5. Like there are like things that talk about like
Dolly,
Dollywood. Working 9 to 5, right? So there are representation and humorous expectations of horrible bosses. We're not talking about that kind of boss. Peter uses this illustration to talk about people who are in harm. Now we can have the hermeneutic or bring this into today's culture by thinking that there are bosses that don't wish for your good. All right, so if we want to think about it that way, there are bosses that don't wish for your good. There are bosses who you have a relationship with that you are working with. How can you reveal the goodness of God in those situations? And one of the things is we are called to submit. We're called to surrender to that and see what God can use, how he can use that situation to help give him glory. And that's crucial. Now, for you out there, if you are a boss, like I think that was really good. You kind of communicated that a little bit to me, Josh, is that if you're a boss, don't be a bad boss, all right? Get your junk together, all right?
Be a good boss.
Be a good boss. Be loving, being kind. Read 1 Corinthians 13 and realize that just doesn't apply to your wife at your marriage, all right? That applies to like life in general, how we're supposed to communicate the gospel. All right, so think about that and be there and understand that.
I think that pretty much sums it up.
So we have that relationally, and then just from a discipleship point of view, how are we going to help each other kind of move along in our faith and continue to grow here? This is an opportunity to have very much a missionary mindset, something that we would hope to have in life in general, but just having that missional mindset of going out and, again, it's sacrifice, it's self-submission for the greater good, and especially if we are in a circumstance where we're having to submit to a boss that is not out for our good, is manipulative, is after us.
They cut your paycheck.
They cut the paycheck. They take advantage of you. They take credit for your work. All those fun things. If you're in that situation, the old school missionary mentality, is, even still today, is I'm gonna go. It may cost me my life, but that's the calling on my life. The old school missionaries, they would literally hammer all of their belongings into a coffin, and that would be how they shipped them across the sea. Mm-hmm. So it's that mentality saying, okay, no matter what I'm going to face, no matter what may happen to me, I'm going to live out for the sake of the gospel. Mm-hmm. So in this instance, within the realm of our relationships, within the realm of our workplace, and all of these areas, we want to have that missional mindset.
That's good. Now, practically, once you get through this, what can we do? What are ways that we can live this out? And one of the things I want to again allude to is if you go to your small group material each week, there is a great place for application. All right, can you see that? See that? It says application. Everybody knows. It's either that noise or those are the two noises I always think when I come close to the camera. I don't know why.
Chevy Chasing.
Yeah. That's a good one.
So many movie references.
I need to add that to my.
So many movie references.
But think through, like, how are you a good employee? I think that's one of the things that we need to do. So many times, like, we think it's our boss, but we haven't been good employees. So think through, how am I a good employee? How am I representing Christ in this situation? And if you do have a bad boss, let's just practically think about how this is. There is like a chain of command. There are people out there that can defend you. There are resources that you can go to. And so that's like a real thing. But in the midst of you working in a bad environment, how has God called you to respond out of Christ-likeness? How has he done that? How can you apply this right now? What is one thing you can do? What is one area that you can do? What is one area that you can come up with in a class? Maybe, just maybe, it's your opportunity to influence them to the gospel, as Pastor Josh said, with being a missionary and us exemplifying Christ. And what would happen if your boss all of a sudden started living like a Christian? Or what if your boss started living like a Christian like you live? Would they be a good boss? Application question. All right. Now, I think that kind of wraps it up. We're good on time. Is there anything else that we need to cover and extend these people's viewing time a little bit longer?
How many movie references have we gotten in here yet?
I don't know. I'll have to watch that. That's good. We need one more good movie reference. If you haven't watched Mandalorian Season 2, you're probably not a Christian. Is that not true?
He just said he hadn't watched it.
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it yet. I don't even know.
Self-reporting there.
Yeah, self-reporting. But hey, thank you so much for tuning in to this week Talking Points. If you have any questions, put them in our comments section or leave us an email. Thank you for those of you who are commenting. We really appreciate that. And though there's only a few of you, you have a majority of our love and appreciation.
Yeah, solid 60, 70%. Ashley, like and share it, and we want to get it out there. Thank you, guys.